The large screen showed another failure. Red letters flashed. "Access denied!" Koru slammed his six-fingered blue hand on the table. This was his 10th attempt today. "Impossible! This system cannot be unbreakable!" he shouted. The other alien. Hackers looked down, embarrassed by their leader's outburst. From the corner of the room, June watched quietly. As the only human in the Central Security Hub's observation deck, he tried not to draw attention. The aliens already thought humans were primitive. No need to give them more reasons. The year was 2157. Earth had joined the Galactic Coalition just 3 years ago. Humans were the newest members of this group of advanced alien civilizations, and by far, humans were seen as the least advanced. The Central Security Hub floated in space near the planet Nexus. It was the most secure place in the known universe. The hub stored the most important secrets of all member planets. Now it also held the coordinates to a newly found planet rich with rare minerals. These coordinates were locked inside a new experimental quantum vault. For the past 3 months, the best alien hackers had tried to break in. None had succeeded. June sipped his coffee as another alien team prepared their equipment. These aliens had tentacles instead of fingers and eyes that could see energy waves. Surely they would succeed where others had failed, but after 2 hours, they too saw the red "Access Denied" message. "Perhaps we should invite our human friends to try," said Koru with a mean laugh. "Maybe their primitive brains will see something we missed." The other aliens laughed. One made a sound like bubbling water, which June had learned was their way of showing amusement. June tried to ignore them. He had been sent to the hub as part of Earth's security team. His job was to learn, not to get into fights with arrogant aliens. His communicator beeped. "June, come to my office," said Director Take's voice. Director Take was the leader of the human security team. He was a serious man who rarely smiled. When June entered his office, Take was standing by the window looking at the stars. "You heard about Koru's challenge?" asked Tyke without turning around. "Yes, sir. He was just making fun of us." "Maybe. But the Coalition Council has made it official. Earth has been formally invited to attempt to breach the vault." June's mouth dropped open. "But sir, that's crazy. The best alien tech experts have failed. They have technology we can't even understand." "I know." Take finally turned to face June. "But we can't refuse. If we do, it will confirm what they all think, that humans are too primitive to matter." "So what do we do?" "You will represent Earth in this challenge." "Me?" June almost choked. "Why me?" "Because you think differently. Before you joined the security forces, you were known for solving problems in unusual ways. We need that now." June shook his head. "Sir, with respect, this is a setup. They want us to fail publicly." "Then don't fail." Tyke's face was hard. "Earth's future in the Coalition may depend on this. We need to show we bring value." As June left the office, his assistant Day waited outside. Day was younger than June, always eager and full of energy. "Did I hear correctly?" asked Day. "You're going to take on the Vault Challenge?" "Looks like it," said June. "This is great." Day's eyes were bright with excitement. "We can show them all what humans can do. Or we can fail and look even more primitive than they already think we are." They walked to the observation deck. The next alien team was setting up their equipment. These aliens had 4 arms each and skin that changed color with their mood. Right now, they were confident green. 3 hours later, they turned frustrated purple as they too failed to breach the vault. "I need to study how this vault works," said June. "Can you get me all the information we have about it?" Day nodded. "I'll get everything I can find." For the next week, June watched every attempt to breach the vault. Each alien team tried something different. Some used quantum computers. Others used mind-linking technology to speed up their hacking. One team even tried to teleport through the vault walls. Nothing worked. June also studied the files Day collected. The vault was made by the Vexillians, a species known for their advanced security systems. It used quantum encryption that changed constantly, making it impossible to predict. On the 8th day, Subin, Earth's diplomatic officer, visited June's workstation. "How is it going?" she asked. "The Council is asking for updates." "Not good," said June. "I've been watching all these aliens try to break the vault with their amazing technology. We can't compete with that." Subin frowned. "I was hoping for better news. The Council members are already saying we should never have been invited to, join the coalition." "Thanks for the pressure," said June with a sigh. "I'm just telling you what's at stake," said Subin. "Find a way, June." That night, June couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the vault and all the failed attempts to breach it. Every alien team had focused on breaking the digital security, the encryption, the quantum locks. Then a thought hit. Him. What if they were all looking in the wrong place? The next morning, June went to the hub's library. He spent hours reading about old Earth security systems, not alien technology. He read about bank vaults from the 20th century, about locks and keys and safes. When Day found him, June was smiling for the first time in days. "You look happy," said Day. "Did you find something?" "Maybe," said June. "I need to see the actual vault, but no one is allowed to approach it except during an official breach attempt." "Then I need to schedule my attempt," said June. Day looked worried. "Are you sure? You don't have any special equipment, no quantum computer, no neural interface?" "I won't need them," said June. "I need something much simpler." Later that day, June stood before Director Take and Subin. "I want to schedule my attempt for tomorrow," he said. "Tomorrow?" Tyke looked surprised. "You're sure you're ready?" "As ready as I'll ever be." "What's your plan?" asked Subin. June smiled. "I think everyone has been approaching this wrong. They're all so focused on the digital security that they're missing something obvious." "Which is?" asked Tyke. "I won't know until I see the vault up close," said June. "But I have a theory. These aliens, they're all so advanced that they've forgotten about physical security. They think only in terms of code and quantum states. And, you think there's a physical weakness?" asked Subin. "I won't know until I look," said June. "But yes, that's my theory." Tyke nodded slowly. "I'll schedule your attempt." As June left the office, he knew he was taking a huge risk. If he was wrong, he would humiliate himself and Earth. But if he was right, he felt something in his pocket. It was a metal paperclip he had taken from Tyke's desk. He looked at it and smiled. Sometimes the simplest tools were the best ones. Word spread quickly through the central security hub. The human was going to attempt the vault challenge. Aliens from all sections came to watch, some curious, most ready to laugh. June tried to ignore the whispers as he walked through the halls. Look at the human. No equipment, not even a neural interface. I heard they still use keyboards on Earth. This will be the fastest failure yet. Day walked beside June, carrying a small box of tools. Most were simple things: a magnifying glass, a flashlight, some wire, and the paperclip June had taken from Director Tyke's office. "Are you sure about this?" Day asked. "Everyone is watching." "That's the point," said June. "They all expect us to fail. But they also expect us to try the same approach they did." They reached the observation deck where the vault challenge took place. The room was packed with aliens from dozens of species. In the front row sat Koru and his team of elite hackers, their blue skin bright under the lights. "The human arrives," announced Koru, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Without even a quantum analyzer!" "This will be quick." Director Tyke and Subin stood near the entrance. Tyke's face was serious, but Subin gave June an encouraging nod. The vault itself was in the center of the room. It was a cube about 2 meters on each side, made of a shiny black material. There was no visible door, just a small control panel. On one side, An official from the Coalition Security Council stepped forward. He was a tall, thin alien with 4 arms and silver skin. Human June, you have requested to attempt the Vault Challenge. You understand that all previous attempts have failed? Yes, said June. And you understand that this challenge tests the security of our most advanced quantum vault system? Yes. Very well. You may begin. You have 3 hours. Laughter spread through the room. The previous attempts had all used the full 3 hours. No one expected June to need that long to fail. June approached the vault slowly. Instead of going to the control panel where all the other hackers had worked, he walked around the cube, studying each side carefully. "What is he doing?" someone whispered. "The access point is on the front." June ignored them. He completed his circle of the vault, then knelt down to look at the bottom edge, then he stood and examined the top. "Day," he called. "The flashlight, please." Day brought the flashlight. June shined it along the edges of the vault, looking for something. After several minutes, he nodded to himself. "Now the magnifying glass," he said. The aliens were getting restless. Some were laughing openly now. "Is this what human technology looks like?" said Koru loudly. "A light and a piece of glass? My children play with more advanced toys." June focused on a spot where the vault's control panel connected to the main structure. With the magnifying glass, he could see tiny seams in the material. He studied these for a long time. "Day," he said at last. "I need information about the Vexillians who made this vault. What planet are they from?" Day pulled out a data pad. "The Vexillians are from Vex Prime. It's a heavy-gravity world, 3 times Earth normal." "And what are their physical characteristics?" "They're short and wide, with 6 limbs that function as both arms and legs. Their fingers are thick and strong, but not very flexible." June nodded. This matched what he had suspected. He turned to the official. "I would like to request information about the maintenance procedures for this vault," he said. The official looked surprised. "Maintenance?" "Yes. Even the most advanced systems need physical maintenance sometimes. How do the Vexillians access the internal components if the digital security fails?" The room fell silent. This was a question no one had asked before. The official seemed unsure. I will consult the manual." He stepped away and spoke quietly into a communication device. After a few minutes, he returned. "The vault has an emergency, physical override system," he admitted. "But it requires specific tools that only the Vexillians possess. It's not relevant to the challenge." "I disagree," said June. "The challenge is to access the vault. The method wasn't specified." The official frowned but couldn't argue with this logic. "Very well, but I assure you, without Vexillian manipulation tools, the physical override is impossible to activate." "We'll see," said June. He turned back to the vault and focused on the control panel. Now that he knew what to look for, he could see the tiny maintenance access point hidden in the decorative border of the panel. "Day, the paperclip," he said. Day handed him the paperclip, looking confused. The aliens in the room began to laugh again, louder this time. "A metal wire!" Koru could barely speak through his laughter. "He thinks he can hack a quantum vault with a piece of metal." June ignored the laughter. He straightened the paperclip, then carefully bent one end into a specific shape, curving it precisely. "What are you doing?" whispered Day. "The Vexillians are from a heavy-gravity world," explained June quietly. "They design everything for strong but thick fingers. Their maintenance tools would be too large and strong for this delicate work. But human fingers are perfect for it." He inserted the bent end of the paperclip into the tiny access point. The fit was snug, but not impossible. Carefully, he pushed and twisted. The laughter in the room had died down. The aliens were watching now, curious despite themselves. Director Tayek stepped closer. "June, you have a theory?" "More than a theory," said June. "The Vexillians built this vault with both digital and physical security, But they designed the physical override for their own use, not thinking that a species with different physical abilities might exploit it. Subin joined them. You think you can trigger the override with just that wire? The paperclip has the right flexibility and strength, said June. And human fingers have the dexterity the Vexillians lack, he continued, working, making tiny adjustments to the paperclip. After about 20 minutes, he felt something click inside the control panel. I think I found it, he said. A small panel next to the main control suddenly lit up. It showed a simple pattern of lights. That's the physical authentication system, said June. It's looking for a specific tool with a specific electromagnetic signature. Which you don't have, said Koru, who had come closer to watch. No, agreed June, but I can fake it. He twisted the paperclip again, creating a small loop at the end. Then he pulled out a small magnet from the toolbox. Day, your communicator, he said. Day handed over his device. June opened the back and disconnected the power cell. He carefully touched it to the magnet and paperclip, creating a simple circuit. The system is looking for a specific electromagnetic signature, he explained. The Vexillian tools would generate it naturally due to the materials they use. I'm creating it artificially. He inserted the modified paperclip back into the access point. This time, when he twisted it, the lights on the panel changed from red to green. A hush fell over the room. Slowly, a seam appeared in the side of the vault. The seam widened, revealing a door that slid silently open. Inside the vault was a small data crystal, glowing with stored information. The coordinates to the resource-rich planet. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the room erupted in shouts and exclamations. Impossible! He cheated! How did a human do this? Director Tyke stepped forward, his face showing a rare smile. Subin was already talking rapidly to the council official, whose silver skin had turned a shocked gray color. June stood up and faced Koru. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best, he said, holding up the paperclip. Your technology is amazing, but you've forgotten that physical reality still matters. Koru's blue skin had darkened with anger and embarrassment. This was not a fair test of hacking skills. No, agreed June. It was a test of problem solving, and today, humanity passed. The next day, the central security hub was buzzing with talk of the human who had opened the unbreakable vault with a paperclip. Aliens who had never spoken to humans before now stared at them with new interest. June sat in a large meeting room, surrounded by officials from the Coalition Security Council. Director Tyke and Subin sat beside him. Across the table sat Koru and representatives from the Vexillians who had built the vault. The head of the Security Council, a tall alien named Movo, with skin that shifted colors like an octopus, called the meeting to order. We are here to discuss yesterday's unusual conclusion to the vault challenge, said Movo. Her skin rippled with patches of blue and green, showing her mixed emotions. Unusual? Said Koru, his voice sharp. It was cheating. The human didn't hack the security system. He used a physical trick. The challenge, said Director Tyke calmly, was to open the vault. The rules didn't specify how. But it was meant to be a test of digital security, said Koru. Was it? Asked Subin. Or was it meant to test the vault's actual security in real conditions? The lead Vexillian, a squat gray creature with thick limbs, made a rumbling sound. The human found a weakness we did not consider. This is valuable information. Exactly, said June. Security isn't just about code and encryption. It's about the whole system, including physical components. Movo's skin settled into a thoughtful purple. Explain how you knew to look for a physical override. June nodded. I studied old Earth security systems. Even our most advanced digital locks still need emergency overrides for maintenance or power failures. I guessed that the vault would have something similar. But how did you activate it with just a paperclip? Asked the Vexillian. Our override tools are specifically designed for Vexillian hands. That's exactly it, said June. They're designed for your hands, thick, strong fingers adapted to heavy gravity, but human fingers are more nimble. What's difficult for you is simple for us. And the electromagnetic signature? Asked Movo. I created it artificially with basic components, the paperclip, a magnet, and a power cell. Simple physics. The room fell silent as they considered this. Finally, Movo spoke again. It seems we have all underestimated humans, she said. Her skin had turned a solid blue, showing she had made a decision. This demonstration shows that different species bring different perspectives, all valuable. So what happens now? Asked Director Tyke. Two things, said Movo. First, the Vexillians will redesign their security systems to address this vulnerability. The Vexillian made a rumbling sound of agreement. Second, continued Movo, we are creating a new multi-species security team to test all coalition systems. We want humans on this team. Subin smiled. This was exactly what she had hoped for, a chance for humans to prove their worth to the coalition. I would be honored to serve, said June. Not just you, said Movo. We want a full human security division, and... She paused, her skin flickering briefly to orange before settling back to blue. We want this team led jointly by you and... Koru! What? Koru's blue skin darkened with shock. I must work with a human? Yes, said Movo firmly. Your technical skills combined with human ingenuity will make a formidable team. Koru looked like he might argue further, but finally gave. A stiff nod. After the meeting, Director Tyke pulled June aside in the hallway. You've done more for Earth standing in 2 days than our diplomats have done in 3 years, he said. But be careful. Not everyone is happy about this. You mean Koru, said June. Him and others like him. They've believed for a long time that their advanced technology makes them superior. You've challenged that belief. I'll be careful, promised June. Later that day, June found Day in the Earth Section's common room. The younger man was surrounded by other humans, telling the story of the Vault Challenge for what was probably the 10th time. And then he just opened it with a paperclip, Day was saying excitedly. You should have seen Koru's face. The group laughed. When they saw June, they broke into applause. Here's our hero, someone called out. June felt embarrassed by the attention. I just did my job, he said. Your job was to make the whole coalition respect humans, said Day. And you did it. June sat down with them and accepted a cup of coffee. As he sipped it, his communicator beeped with a message. It was from Subin. Meet me in Lab 7. Urgent. Curious, June excused himself and made his way to the lab section. Lab 7 was small and usually empty. When he entered, he found Subin waiting with a worried, Look, what's wrong? He asked. Maybe nothing, she said. But I've been monitoring communications since the meeting. Koru has been talking to someone outside the hub, someone he didn't want to trace. That's suspicious, said June. What do you think he's planning? I don't know, but I don't trust him. He lost face yesterday, and in his culture, that's serious. So what do? We watch him, said Subin, and we need to be ready for anything. Before June could reply, his communicator beeped again. This time it was a message from Movo, calling him to her office immediately. When June arrived, he found Movo with her skin a dark, troubled red. Koru was also there, looking smugly satisfied. There's been a development, said Movo. The data crystal from the vault is missing. Missing? Said June. But it was under heavy guard. Yes, said Movo. And the security logs show that someone used an override very similar to your paperclip trick to access the storage area. Koru's mouth split in what June had learned was their version of a smile. It seems your human trick has now been used for theft. June felt cold. You think I took it? Not necessarily you, said Movo, but someone who learned from you. Or someone trying to frame humans, said June, looking directly at Koru. Koru's skin darkened. Are you accusing me? I'm not accusing anyone yet, said June, but I intend to find out who did this. This incident threatens the new human security. Division before it even begins, said Movo. We need to resolve it quickly and quietly. I'll find the crystal, promised June, and when I do, we'll know who really took it. As he left Movo's office, June's mind was racing. The data crystal contained coordinates to a planet rich with valuable resources. Many would want that information. But who would risk stealing it? And, more importantly, who would want to make it look like humans were responsible? June took out the paperclip he still carried in his pocket. It had solved one problem. Now it was time to solve another. June gathered his small team in an empty conference room. Dai, Subin, and Director Taik sat around the table looking worried. We have 24 hours before Movo takes this matter to the full council, said Director Taik. If we don't find the data crystal by then, humans will be blamed, and all the respect we just earned will vanish, added Subin. June nodded. Let's think about this logically. Who benefits from stealing the crystal? Anyone who wants the coordinates to that. Resource-rich planet, said Day. And who benefits from making humans look bad? Asked June. Koru, obviously, said Subin. He was humiliated when you solved the challenge. His entire team lost face. But Koru wouldn't know how to use my paperclip trick, said June. Not unless... He studied it, said Day. The security cameras would have recorded everything you did. Good point, said June. Let's check the security logs. See who accessed those recordings. Day used his datapad to connect to the hub's security system. After a few minutes, he looked up with a surprised expression. The logs show that several people viewed the recordings. Koru, yes, but also 3 members of the Security Council, including Movo herself. That doesn't narrow it down much, said Director Taik with a frown. Wait, said June suddenly. The override I used required more than just the paperclip technique. It also needed a specific electromagnetic signature. Could someone else recreate that? Asked Subin. Not easily, said Yon. It would require precise knowledge of the signature, which would be in the vault's technical specs, said Day. Who has access to those? The Vexillians who built it, said Director Taik, and probably the Security Council. June stood up. We need to check the override system used to steal the crystal. If it matches exactly what I did, then someone got very detailed information. Or, said Subin slowly, someone is trying too hard to make it look like your method was used. Exactly, said June. Let's go to the storage area. The storage room where the crystal had been kept was sealed off, with 2 security officers standing guard. One was a tall, insect-like alien, the other a furry creature with 4 eyes. We need to examine the scene, said Director Taik, showing his security clearance. Orders are no one enters, said the insect guard. We have authorization from Movo, lied Subin smoothly, holding up her diplomatic badge. The guards looked at each other, then reluctantly stepped aside. Inside, June went straight to the small safe where the crystal had been stored. Like the vault, it had a control panel, and like the vault, it had a hidden emergency override. Day, scan this for electromagnetic residue, said June. Day pulled out a small device and ran it over the override access point. There is residue, he confirmed. But it's strange. The pattern doesn't match what you used. Different how? Asked June. It's stronger, more powerful. Like someone used a much bigger power source. June thought for a moment. That makes no sense. The override needs a specific signature. Too strong would trigger security, not bypass it. Unless, said Subin, the safe's security was already compromised. The override might just be for show. Can you check when the safe was last serviced? June asked Day. Day checked his datapad again. 3 days ago, by a Vexillian technical team. Right before the vault challenge, said Director Taik. That can't be a coincidence. Who authorized the service? Asked June. Day's eyes widened as he read the answer. Koru. June smiled grimly. I think we need to have another talk with our blue friend. They found Koru in the hub's main control center, surrounded by his team of hackers. He looked up with obvious displeasure when June approached. What do you want, human? I want to know why you authorized a service on the crystal safe 3 days ago, said June. Koru's blue skin darkened slightly. That's standard procedure before a major security test. Is it also standard procedure to steal the test object afterward? The other hackers stopped what they were doing and stared. Koru stood up slowly. Are you accusing me of theft? I'm just asking questions, said June calmly. Like why the override used to steal the crystal had a much stronger electromagnetic signature than necessary. I don't know what you're talking about, said Koru, but his skin was now very dark. I think you do, said June. I think you arranged for the safe to be compromised during that service. Then you staged a theft using a method similar to mine, but not exactly the same. You were hoping no one would notice the difference. This is absurd, said Koru, but he was backing away slowly. June stepped closer. Where is the crystal, Koru? I don't have it. No, but you know who does. One of Koru's hackers suddenly made a break for the door. Subin was faster. She blocked his way, her diplomatic training including more than just talking skills. Going somewhere? She asked the hacker, who froze in place. Director Take had already called security. Within minutes, the room was filled with officers. Movo arrived shortly after, her skin a deep, angry red. Explain, she demanded. June laid out what they had discovered. The service authorized by Koru, the different electromagnetic signature, the hasty escape attempt. Movo turned to Koru. Is this true? Koru's skin had gone pale, almost white. In his culture, this showed extreme fear. It was just meant to be a prank, he said weakly, to teach the humans a lesson. Show them they're not so clever. Where is the crystal? Asked Movo. Koru nodded to the hacker Subin had stopped. Pak has it. Security officers searched Pak and found the crystal hidden in a secret pocket of his uniform. Take them both to detention, ordered Movo. Her skin had turned a stern blue. The council will decide their punishment. After Koru and Pak had been led away, Movo turned to June. Once again, you've shown remarkable problem-solving skills. Not just me, said June, gesturing to his team. We work together. Yes, said Movo. Her skin shifted to a warmer purple. That's why I still want humans on our security team, but perhaps not working with Koru after all. Who will co-lead with June? Asked Director Take. I believe the Vexillians have nominated someone, said Movo. They were most impressed by how quickly humans found flaws in their design. They wish to learn from you. 1 month later, June stood in a large classroom in the hub's training center. Before him sat security experts from a dozen different species, including 3 Vexillians. Today we're going to talk about physical security, said June, holding up a paperclip for everyone to see. This simple object opened what was thought to be an unbreakable vault. Not because it's special, but because I looked at the problem differently. In the back of the room, Day was recording the lesson. He had been promoted to lead Earth's new practical security division. Subin sat nearby, her diplomatic skills now more respected than ever. Security isn't just about advanced technology, continued June. It's about understanding all vulnerabilities, digital and physical, technical and biological. He looked around the room, meeting the eyes, or eye-like organs, of each student. Different species have different strengths and weaknesses. What's impossible for one may be simple for another. By working together, sharing our unique perspectives, we create better security for everyone. He held up the paperclip again, now bent into a small figure of a human. This is more than just a piece of metal. It's a reminder that solutions can be found in the simplest places. You just have to be willing to look. The students nodded, even the Vexillians with their rocky heads bobbing in understanding. In the corner, Director Tyke allowed himself a small smile of pride. Humans had found their place in the stars, not through advanced technology, but through something much more powerful, the ability to think differently. And it had all started with a paperclip.